Fantasy Football Island, I'm Tito. He's Chad Brink. Thanks for chiming in. What is that, an alcoholic beverage or non-alcoholic there, Brink?
It is a non-alcoholic beverage in my Seinfeld glass.
Gotcha. Perfect. Fantasy Football Island on Fantasy Sports, powered by DSP Media. I'm Jeff Tito. Follow me on the X at That Happens. Follow him, Chad Rink, at Chad Ocho Rincos, where you find him. And thank you. By the way, download the app. It's free. You can follow us on Apple, Android. Get those users. Do that. Go there. It's all free. You can find all of our great programming we got going on right now. And lots to talk about today. Look, baseball, it's today, I don't know when it's going to post, but today is August 1st for Chad and I. And so, like, now you can say, when does fantasy football draft get going? They get going now, this month. That's when it goes. So now you should have, if you're smart, Chad, several weeks before worrying about doing your draft. You should have that. We are also, by the way, Fantasy Draft Proxies. You need help with your drafts, sign up there. We can draft for you. We can run your teams, whatever you want to do. We can do all of those things. And Chad and I do numerous, between the two of us, more than 100 drafts a year we do for other people. And so this is the time now, though, where you can start, if you're a new league, or like a league that's come back and decided to do different things, where you can start some different scoring processes. And what we're going to focus on this episode, ways to make your league better. And so, Chad, let's talk about some ways. And I'm going to tell you, listen, everybody, Rink loves kickers. So I'm not going to let him say anything, though, about kicker drafts and kickers getting 14 points for a field goal. We're not going to do that. But, Chad, let's talk about some ideas of ways to improve your fantasy football league.
Yeah, I love kickers, but I do not mind if you don't have kickers in your league. That I don't mind that. I think defenses should be kicked out before kickers. But yeah, we're going to talk about a few league types, and then we can also maybe throw around some other ideas just to add as well. So the first one I want to talk about is one that you and I both separately saw on our either our X or Instagram feed, where it's either called the No Losers or Only Winners League. So it came across your feed, and I think it came across mine as well, right?
It came across to Temple's feed. He sent it to me.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So what that is, it is the first I'd ever heard of it. The other ones I've heard of before, where you just draft regular head-to-head, but if you only get points if the players that you have won their actual game. So, I mean, that is crazy, and I don't even. It's a unique kind of way, and it's so crazy because there's the strategies you want to try to maybe think about. What's the one thing, if you're drafting, what's the one thing then you're focusing on in this type of draft?
I'm looking at the number 2 running backs for really good teams versus number 1 running backs of bad teams. And it's I look at, that you might take, I'm trying to think now, but you might take a running back, though, the number 2 running back for, say, the Steelers or the Bills or the Eagles or teams like that, the Lions, that you might think that because they're going to win most of their games, versus the number 1 running back of, say, the Carolina Panthers or the Indianapolis Colts, whatever, Jacksonville. You might look at it differently based on that. Same thing with receivers. You might take a number 2 receiver on, say, Tennessee, who is not going to win a lot of games, but still he could be really good, versus number 2 receiver for Jacksonville. There's a lot of different options in there. I don't recommend it, Chad. You and I talked about this. If you're in a big money, big time, trash talking money league, and you and I are one of those, you and I both participate in one of those. If you're in that, I wouldn't do this. If it's hey, everyone throw in $20, we'll see what happens, that'd be more fun. But I'm not there's so much randomness in it.
And you could pick a good team, and it just for me, the focus is kind of similar to that. It would be interesting where Genty would fall and something like that. My focus would be I'm drafting guys from the best teams and
Yeah.
just overloading on them, like the Chiefs, Bills, Eagles,
Ravens.
Lions, like
Yeah.
teams that I think are going to win 10 to 13 games and just load up and, just figure out their bye another time. The other thing we talked about too is if you have guys that are playing each other in real life on your roster, it's one of one of them is not going to score, but it could be a weird strategy to where if you look at some bad teams, like if you look at a bad division, like this is what I thought about. Like if you look at the AFC South,
Yep.
if you draft a bunch of guys from there and just kind of play them against each other, then like one of those guys. If you draft like Jacksonville's running back and like Jonathan Taylor, like
Right.
one of them's going to win, so you'll get points from one of them. But yeah, I'm like you. Like I wouldn't even pay for this league. This is something where you want to get your brothers or kids involved
Yeah.
just for fun to see how it. I would do a practice league first just to kind of see, but. Everyone would be kind of in the dark because I've never heard of this league before. But this is just when I just like I don't think I'd ever get involved if I had to pay for it.
Chad, I think it'd be good to do, if you're going to do this the first year, and we might do this, by the way,
Yeah.
but a guillotine league with this.
Yeah.
Get 15 people, whatever, and you go through and you do it, and you can change the team every week, whatever it is. But I'm saying, though, like, then you get the 0 points if they don't win.
Yeah.
I would feel better about doing that than doing some other kind of like big time. First of all, no way in hell the keeper league. And I'm not doing that. But I'm just saying, like the way that it's structured, though, I would be fine with doing a guillotine league. I think that would be fun. And you and I might do this. By the way, if you want, again, if you're watching this and want to join us, at That Happens, he is at Chad Ochorinco. Reach out to us. If we do a league, we'll get you involved if we can. We've got our usual cast of characters, but nonetheless, if we have a spot, though, we would certainly get you in. But I think, Chad, that's the way you do it. If you're doing it the first time, it's a genius idea. It might suck, but
Yeah.
like right now, as we're talking about it here on August 1st, I think it's a genius idea.
I like it too, and it'd be fun just because it's something different. Because you get in the same leagues, you kind of have the same ideas and how you draft and stuff. And this would just be such a new thing and so nuanced that I would be interested just for the studying and how to draft, just to see how it
Right.
went. Yeah, and then it's a good segue to a league that I think it's kind of cool, and we do this with like daily fantasy. We do this with I can't remember how many people are in it. It's usually about 15 to 17. We do a guillotine weekly
Yep.
DFS
Like a
one.
salary cap Yahoo thing. Yeah.
Where in the guillotine league, if you don't know, it's not head to head. Everybody's in it, and then whoever ends up last place for that week is out of the league, and you just keep going down until you have one team left, and that team wins. So in a DFS, it's easy because you just have salary every week. If you are doing a fantasy, like an actual league, a couple of the rules that I looked at, obviously, the last place finisher is eliminated from the league, whoever that is each week. And then the eliminated roster just goes. So that team's roster, I guess, goes to a blind waiver bidding first.
Oh, wow.
And then, so everyone does a blind waiver bid for that guy's team. And then once that's done, then the regular waiver wires with a fab kicks in. So I'm not sure. You could set your own rules of like everybody put in a bid, but you can just get one guy from that. There's different things, but that's how the guillotine works. And that's actually kind of fun. Um, it's fun with our DFS just because one of the strategies that I always try to use with that one early on is just try to be consistent and just get like consistent guys rather than upside guys early on because you want to stay in it as long as possible. So you want guys that you just think you don't want the risk reward guys. You just are wanting to just float, stay afloat for as long as you can. And then once you get down to about like 7, 8 guys, then you can kind of maybe start looking to be really good. But drafting wise on that one, have you thought about what type of style you would do? What kind of drafting strategy you go into that with?
And that one, that'd be tough. Daily fan, it's tough for me because I want to, when I play fantasy football and what we do, and you and I play in a league where it's couple leagues where it's very specific about, it's more about long-term building.
Yeah.
And I like that aspect of it. I don't like the daily fantasy leagues or the daily fantasy format as much. I play them because they're kind of fun a little bit for that week. It gives you interest and stuff. But as far as like long term, like I don't know, the ones that you and I do, we have some like long term aspect of it to where it makes sense to look to 2 years down the road, look to 3 years, or to look long term on where you're going to do things. So I it's tough for me to transition because all the drafts you and I do for Fantasy Draft Proxies, by the way, fantasyddraftproxies.com. If you can hit ding, hit ding. But anyway, the stuff that's fine. Yeah, ding, ding. Okay, the stuff that we do for them, though, a lot of it's either going to be like, redraft or keeper leagues. And those are the ones I prefer. I feel like the other ones are, I don't want to say hacky, but they're not the same for me.
No, they're not. And it'd be one of those things, too, where I would hate to do all the prep work, get ready, draft, be excited, and then you get eliminated that first week. And then basically your whole fantasy season is done if that's your only league. So the Guillotine League is fun. I like it for the daily fantasy more for this, just because each week then you can kind of look at your matchups, do that. So I do like a Guillotine for like a daily fantasy. It makes it interesting. As well. So, and then the other one I looked at, and this is one I'd like to do, and I don't know if you've heard of the Vampire League.
Okay, wait. I want to tease it. Folks, stick around. Coming up next, after this break, on Fantasy Football Island, Fantasy Sports, DSP Media, we're going to tell you about the Vampire League next. I don't know it either, but we're going to hear it next from Chad Rink. That's next here on the Fantasy Sports Network.
Golfers, IndyCar Tim here. I want to talk to you a little bit about Golf Central Magazine. It's not just a golf magazine. It's the magazine for everything. Turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Head over to golfcentralmag.com and check out the latest issue. Some of the regular features in Golf Central Magazine: the Golf Bachelorette of the Month, the Golf Bachelor of the Month, the Golf Cart Girl of the Month, Golf History, Grip It and Sip It. So head over to golfcentralmag.com. It's free. It's the magazine for everything: turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Golf Central Magazine at golfcentralmag.com. We'll see you there.
Today's show is brought to you by Tomstown, a premier craft distillery based in Kansas City, Missouri. Discover their award-winning lineup, including double oaked bourbon, botanical gin, and double grain vodka, named the best craft vodka by the readers of USA Today. Available for online delivery in 40 states. Visit toms-town.com or their Kansas City distillery to explore more. Elevate your game with Tomstown, where history meets innovation. Please enjoy responsibly.
Hello, folks. Let's talk a little bit about turf life. And what is turf life? It's pretty much if your life involves turf in any way, shape, or form, you live the turf life. Go ahead and brand yourself with the turf life. Maybe a back window decal, maybe a hat. You know where you can get those kinds of things to showcase that your life revolves around sports and or anything that involves sports. If it's a sports business or sports education or just your enjoyment of the outdoors, head over to turflifeclub.com. Become a turf head. Join the club today. You can do that by going to that said website that I just told you to go to. You can snag your window decal like I was talking about, or any of your other turf life accessories. Show everybody that you live the turf life, and we'll see you there over there at that turflifeclub.com.
Orion Golf Management Solutions. Orion Management Solutions has tailored its service packages just like it tailors its approach to customers. Some owners need more supervision, while others need periodic assessment of their short-term and long-term strategies and programs. Orion can be called in to develop a business plan with the existing staff, or we can assist with the daily management of a facility or event. Either way, we make sure the client is satisfied and understands the direction the facility needs to go in order to achieve the owner's goals. Orion Management Solutions can help with owner assistance service solutions, daily course management, business plan development, monthly operations, or as-needed consulting services. Whatever your need, Orion Golf Management Solutions can help. Check out oriongolf.com.
Let's go!
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, we're back, folks. I've been sitting here, Chad, on not literal pins and needles, but a pin and a needle. But that's not for discussion right now. Nonetheless, what the hell is a Vampire League?
if I had thought about it, I should have brought my kids like vampire glow in the dark teeth to do it.
I
But
have
the
those
vampire,
also, but they're upstairs in the nightstand next to the
yes,
wife's side of the bed. But go ahead.
exactly. There you go. All right, so the vampire league, it's really ideal for like a bigger, like I think 12 team is probably the best. So what happens is, and you can do it set up any way you draft normally, but one team is the vampire team.
Okay.
And that team, you can determine it however you want. I would love to be a vampire team. That team does not participate in the draft. Everybody else drafts regularly.
Okay.
Once the draft is done, then the vampire team builds his team for whoever's left. Okay.
Well, that's gonna be a
So,
shitty team.
but listen, here's where the fun comes in.
This better be fun.
It is. So it's like and they have access to waiver wire until before any other team can access the waiver wire.
Okay.
Then you just play your normal head to head. There's the vampire chooses who they play. So this is going to be a pain if you do it this way for the commissioner, because the vampire then can choose each week who his opponent's going to be, but he can't play anybody more than twice. Okay, and you can set up the schedule however.
Wait,
You can just do
the vampire can't play more than twice.
No, the vampire can't play a team more than twice. So, like the vampire,
right.
if you do it this way,
yeah, yep.
But you can set it up. You can set up just a normal schedule too.
Okay.
The key is then if the vampire team wins the week, they can steal any player they want from the team they beat.
Oh wow!
And they would have to do an even swap. So if I was a vampire and I beat you and you had Josh Allen, I could take Josh Allen from you, but I'd have to give you a quarterback. So that's like
any quarterback, like anybody on your team. Like if you have a crap, if you drafted, say Trey Lance, you could say I'm taking Josh Allen. You could Trey Lance.
It has to be position. It has to be position for position. But you can take any guy that you want in that one, and then yeah. So that's really it. So the vampire is at a disadvantage. If I did this, and they've done it before where they just randomly draw like who the draft order and whoever's 12th, they just make it. I would,
and
if
that
I'm doing this,
team does not draft.
The what?
The 12th team does not draft.
Whoever the vampires, they do not draft. Nope. And then they just get people. So it's a little bit more fun with a 12, like a 10 team. I think in a 10 team, the vampire team could actually probably put together a solid team, and it wouldn't be as fun. Like a 12 team seems like the ideal. Any more than that would be crazy. And I would say if the vampire team probably does not pay the full fee, or
maybe
it's
get
just
a freebie. Yeah.
And so I think I would like to do that just for the fact that it would be fun to try to beat somebody and then build a team. So those are the different ones that I've heard. Again, I was gonna do. They were gonna do a vampire one. Like somebody was gonna do one that that's I don't think it was like Matthew Berry, but something like that. Just through Twitter was gonna start putting a bunch of them out, and then I just never got in it. But I've never done any of those. Like they sound fun. But I think I prefer the traditional ones. I just would rather add some different unique rules. I think is better than trying to overhaul a different league.
Yeah, I think that something like that, Chad, I would do it if it was like a $10 entry fee and whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just for fun, I would do it.
Right.
But the ones you and I play in are usually bigger money, and we take them more, and they're more like long term, and more like we're the real GM / owner of these teams, and so. Something like that, it would be fun to do. Is kind of I might do it like honestly, my 8-year-old son. Hey, let's get 10 guys. Let's do this. We can figure it out. We can play like some kind of fun league that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. The other elements of it, look. Okay, let's do this. And I've got a buddy of mine, Adam Kahn.
Yep. Busy.
And busy. That's fine. Anyway, he every year, and they've done this. It is an IDP league with full defense.
Yeah.
So you go into it, you do the draft, and you have to say, I'm playing a 3-4 or a 4-3.
Okay.
You draft every friggin' position. Okay. Yeah. All the offense like that. Now, granted, not offensive linemen, but then all the defensive positions, you do that. Punter, kicker, kick returners, punt returners, all that stuff counts.
Okay.
And it goes through all the way through to the Super Bowl. Okay? There's Artie. Thanks, Artie. Wait, okay. There, Chad, wait, you. All right. So they go all the way through the Super Bowl. So, like, if your guy gets eliminated, you don't get more points. But if he goes through all the way, you get points to the Super Bowl. So it's a long draft. It takes like all day. They do like golf in the morning and then draft these. It's like a 41-round draft where the hell it is. And so, like, you will see guys at the trade deadline who might trade, let's just say, Caleb Williams to the Bears, quarterback. Let's say a guy believes the Bears are not making the playoffs or they won't advance very far. So I will trade a lesser quarterback, say J.J. McCarthy, because the Vikings wanted the – or just over the bad example. But anyway, they will trade a lesser player who has bigger long-term potential for a player who won't make the playoffs or get knocked out early on. So those are interesting to me. I've never done an IDP league like that. I've done things where it's like, oh, you draft 3 IDPs, whatever, 2 IDPs. I've done that. But I've never done like hey, we're drafting 11 players and I'm playing a 3-4. That seems insane to me.
No, that's our Cincinnati one is like that. And it's been that way for the entire 30 years we've done it.
Right.
Now we just do 10 players, and you don't have to do like what your defense is. You just get 3 D linemen, 3 linebackers, 3 in the secondary, and then you get a wild card.
Okay.
So I mean, it's fun, and you get different stats. And then we had to do a Deion Sanders rule at one time. It was because
2 ways.
Yeah, so we had to we were like, okay, it was the DS1 rule, the Deion Sanders 1 rule, where it was you had to specify, is he going to be a receiver or is he going to be a DB? And most everyone played him at DB. And I asked my buddy, I was like, are we doing a Travis Hunter rule? And he's like, no, we're just going to, wherever you draft him, he'll just get all the points. It's just, I think this year, if we see he plays a lot, I don't think he's going to play a lot offensively, but if he does, we may have to change that rule. But yeah, IDP is kind of fun. Some people get too involved, like some people start drafting defensive guys earlier, and if you really look at it, points wise over a whole season, unless you're like
kickers, right?
Yeah, because like you get like 3 for a sack, 1 for a half sack, you get 4 for a pick, you get 10 points for any defensive touchdown. So a pick 6 is 14. But like most of your guys, if they're they're not getting 80, 100 points. There's maybe 3 defensive players all year. So I usually wait on my defense a lot, but it does kind of suck if you just get zeros in your defense all the time. So you got to kind of put a priority to it. But some people go a little bit too crazy with their defense.
How do you handle the returns? And like, let's say in your league, you draft Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
And the Jags decide he's going to return punts and kicks or whatever. What do you guys do with that?
That's just, like for ours, it's just 6. Like any touchdown in ours is 6, except the defensive touchdown is worth 10 because they're a lot more rare.
Sure.
Any touchdown. So yeah, if you had a guy like Travis Hunter could have a game where, like if he was on, let's say he's on special team, if he had a punt return touchdown, a receiving touchdown, and a pick 6, that would be the pick 6 would be 14, and then you get 6 for the other 2, so that would be 26 points just on the touchdowns. And then we don't get any yardage for defense or punt returns.
Right.
We do. He did add. You get like a point for every 30 yards of like return yardage. So I mean, it does help. No one ever really prioritizes any of those type of guys because, 30 is not going to get too much. But yeah, so Hunter's going to be interesting after this year to see how much offense he plays, because I can see if he plays a lot of snaps, then I can see in our league that you have to specify if he's going to be a receiver or a DB.
And by the way, if you're drafting now, that's stupid. But nonetheless, if you do, Fantasy Draft Proxies, we can help you out. We'll draft early for you. I'm just telling you right now, the best play, and this will hurt my wallet, the best play is wait as long as you can to see what happens injury-wise as far as players go and see what they do. So, Chad, I will close this out with saying this.
Okay.
And I have said this before to you and to our league that we're in, one of the many leagues that you and I do together. But I love the idea of the head coach. You have to draft a coach, and you figure out a point value for if that coach wins or if that coach loses, whatever it is. It might be 3 for a win, it might be -3 for a loss, but you have to draft a single. You only get one head coach, and you can draft him. Now, it should never really come into play unless it's a really super close game. And then you can fire coaches and pick up other ones, which I love the idea of saying to my friends, hey, today, just FYI, I fired Campbell from Detroit. And, I picked up Tomlin from Pittsburgh. Campbell wasn't getting it done. I'm going with Tomlin. Or if you don't want to do that, then just say that's your tiebreaker. If you got a situation where it's like there's a tie, the head coach, whoever wins or loses, that's the difference. I love the idea of being able to say, hey, this week I fired Mike Vrabel.
I love that too. Like I would have loved to have fired Matt Nagy many a time.
Yes,
I do like that, and I think it needs to be something like that, like 3-3 or 5-2. Like it can't be anything significant. I don't think.
It can't be like a 27-point thing.
No, I saw one where there was a league where if a quarterback records a tackle, it's 100 points.
Oh, Jesus.
And so it's like somebody said there was someone as a big thread said there was one game they were up by like 20. The other guy's quarterback threw a pick, tackled the guy, and it just swung the whole thing. Like, it was like late in the fourth quarter. I mean that's kind of crazy. But that would just suck, like to be up 30 with like a minute left, and then the other guy's quarterback records a tackle.
Hey, that's fun in week 3, not so much fun in week 16. You know what I mean? Like it's fine early on, okay, whatever, jokey joke, it was good. But if it's in a playoff situation, I would be ticked if Mike Big Neck Glennon threw a pick and then got a tackle, and that cost me.
Yeah, so with your scoring system, make it so it's like the important stuff matters most.
Right. And that's a big thing. And that's where you walk the line on that. You and I played a league where it's like a category-based system, which is different than everybody else as far as like points-based. So it's interesting and that's kind of the balance. And as a commissioner, and I take it way too seriously. I look, honestly, I'll tell you this right now. I take it way too seriously. I think I'm Roger Goodell with how much I look at different things like, well, how will this affect this and that, and then this and then that? I go like different levels. But you got to look at that though. Like if I'm going to make this do something, if I'm going to make this significant, what will it do to this, and this? So on the quarterback, the coaching thing, I would say I love the idea of drafting head coaches, firing and hiring head coaches, training head coaches. I love the idea of all of that, but just don't make it more important than what Lamar Jackson does.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right, that's it for this edition of Fantasy Football Island. It's Tito, it's Chad Rink. I am at That Happens. He is at Chad Ochorinco. And again, download the app, FanStream Sports. It's free. It's free for Apple and Android users. Go check it out. We're going to come back to you next. In our next episode, we're going to talk quarterbacks. Ooh, look out. We're going to do that next. This has been Fantasy Football Island on FanStream Sports.